Welcome, welcome, welcome. Benny's going to tell me, could you back off from your mic a little bit right there?
Hey, you doing okay for right now?
I just jumped on it because I just thought, oh, okay, I know. I get so excited. I get up, I get down, because I'm just thrilled to be sharing everything with folks today. I'm Dr. Pat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. We've got another powerhouse hour for you today. In the world that we live in, you know, one of the things I've had to look at is I've had to really look at what I'm doing. And what I mean by that is, what am I doing? How am I spending my day now? I almost didn't take off my mask just getting here to do the show with most amazing Sabrina Wright joining me here today. The secret weapon to surviving 2020. That's what we're bringing right now. We have to bring it. It's important. And I love that we're talking about this. Now, for those of you out there, you know, look, I've had the pleasure to work with Sabrina one-on-one, but here's what I know. What I love about what she's bringing today to the world is a complete holistic approach. Whether it's an approach of self-care about the mind, or whether it's about the spiritual self, whether it's about the physical self. And the last time she was on, she was talking with us about the power of, you know, CBD oil, and it's fantastic. I mean, I learned the hard way about it. So you're going to hear more about this because it isn't just one aspect of who we are. We have to get it all. We have to take the whole look at who we are, the whole approach. But she has dedicated a lifetime, like a lifetime, to this. Sabrina, great to have you. It's awesome.
Hi, Dr. Pat. Thank you very much for having me today.
Look, I want to talk about the secret weapon, because it used to be we weren't able to use the word surviving. There were some people that thought, you need a different word. I don't think we need a different word now. We need to know how to do this. What is it about this that became so important and impactful for you to sit down and literally carve out a way for people to do this?
Well, I'm sure everybody can look at their life and their lifespan and pick key moments in their life that were defining moments that changed not only the course of their life, but changed themselves as well. And as natural interpreters, we're constantly interpreting every little component of our day, of conversations, of what we're learning, what we read, how we feel, what our body's telling us. We're constantly working, especially here, trying to interpret it and make things consistent and cohesive and connect our cognitive processes so that life makes sense to us, because a lot of times it doesn't. Especially this year. I think that 2020 has become a year filled with a lot of adversity, goodness, tons of challenges. For some people, tragic situations have happened, and we've got to have some sort, in my opinion, we've got to have some sort of blueprint or a map, if you will, to help us navigate life.
I'm telling you, I'm right there with you, sister. Do you mind me calling you sister?
Not at all.
Okay. I thought, Sabrina, let's just talk. Let's get real for a minute. First, let me honor you for taking this on. And the reason I want to honor you for taking it on, I'm just going to get a little emotional, I think, is because I know you are like bubbly, you are upbeat, you are a go-getter, you create stuff when we need stuff. You look at ways to expand. You brought CBD oil to the forefront a week ago or a month ago, whatever it was, because, and for me, I didn't learn about CBD oil until I got really sick. And then I understood about CBD, period. And I still don't know about it. And thank you so much for your gift. Thank you. But here's where we are. I thought in my life, and I know that life has not been just a piece of cake for you either. But I thought I had done it all. I had seen it all. I had gone through some horrific times in my life. I had gone through decades of change and turmoil. You know, I've been fired from every job I've ever had, right? And one after 25 years. But I never thought that I would have to really not just look through a new lens. People talk about looking through a new lens in the world. Look through a new lens, get a new lens for the world. No, you need to throw that lens out and you need to get a new set of glasses because we need something new, don't we?
We do.
Sorry, I got a little fired up.
No, it's okay. It's okay. The conversations I've been having as of late, not only with my friends, but also with my clients, is it's wrestling with this notion that it's just a matter of, oh, here, let me just clean these off. Oh, better. I can see the direction I'm supposed to be going in. It's not that easy.
No.
So our conversations and our dialogues and our meetings have been about how do we punch our way out of this paper bag, because it's not a straight shot, one step in front of the other. This is what I do, and then this is what's going to happen, and then this is how I respond, and this is how I move forward. Life is not like that. I don't know where we learned that, or where we learned that life was easy peasy and things were given to us, everything's rosy. That's just not what life is about.
All right. We're going to talk about resilience now. For those of you out there, please Google this word. When I first heard this word, I was an executive in the corporate world. And I remember the consultants coming in. And I never understood this because they would come in and they would talk about corporate resilience as if the corporation were like a being. The corporation is not a being. They rarely talked about individual resilience within the framework. But you're bringing this conversation to the table now so that people, human beings, men and women, understand it. In my post-corporate life, when I went back to school, I had to study it at a level because I felt so broken from my corporate experience. So let's talk about it, because resilience is the thing that would have put Humpty Dumpty back together, but more importantly, would have prevented Humpty Dumpty from falling down.
Exactly, I agree. And my exposure in my life was on the corporate level. And they still teach corporate resilience and how to navigate relationships and decision-making in the corporate world. However, we need those skills to navigate life and to do life well and to do life better. So resilience is actually the ability to adapt well in the face of adversity, challenges, tragedy, and traumas. And that's what's most important. And there are health benefits that we receive as we're building this resilience.
So we today, for those of you out there, 1-800-930-2819, we want to help you. because today, whether you're listening on the airwaves or you're watching on Facebook, right? Or any other place you're seeing this streamed or hearing it streamed. I think it's going to Spreaker. I'm not even sure. Or Transformation Talk Radio. Here's what we're talking about today. We're talking about personal resilience. And Sabrina is taking this on. And why would Sabrina take this on? Well, if you are she or you are me and you have gone through the Humpty Dumpty, I have fallen off the wall and I do not think I can be put back together again. If that is you, because that was me, you all know me as Dr. Pat today, but I will tell you, you can probably insert in there Dr. Humpty Dumpty Pat, because there have been points in time in my life that I've fallen off the wall. Today's show is for you, from Sabrina Wright, to help you see, one, you don't have to fall. And two, if you do, you can put it back together. Isn't this one of the greatest lessons of the time we're living in?
Oh, absolutely. It couldn't be more timely that we're having this conversation, and more timely that the skill set and the experiences that people have had so far this year are now developing a framework for them to move forward.
I want to say this. So you and I are talking about it, but please, everybody out there, whether you're listening to this live, and for those of you that download our podcast, this is going to apply to you. So many of you have called us and said, I didn't listen live. Can I still do this? For those of you out there, please know, Sabrina, tell them what you are offering.
So today I'm offering two things. I'm offering a free discovery session where we talk one-on-one about you, what you're looking for, what you need. Do I have tools and resources that would be a really good fit for you? And also in that, you're also able to get a free CBD sample as another tool.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to skip the break because I want to continue if you don't mind. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now why CBD? Here's why. We're not talking about just the mind. This was a big illusion for me, Sabrina. This was a really big illusion for me. I thought that if I read all the books and I followed all the secrets and I did all the mind changing positivity. Look, I'm called the queen of positivity. Our network is called the Disney of podcasting. That's what people see us. But we are like everybody else. I break down. I have broken down in my life. I thought I was going to break down over COVID-19. And instead, I decided to expand our network. I decided to offer a nighttime venue, a weekend venue. Our technology is finished. I've got a great team of people, but I don't do what you do. You are addressing the mind and the body. Tell us about resilience and what the game changer is if we learn it.
That's a really good question, because it really does come down to, if we pay attention, how is it going to change life moving forward? And it's a matter of taking care of your mind in a way that you have captured your thoughts and you, in a state of clarity, are responding to situations as opposed to reacting. And many times in my life, I have had a tendency to react, and my reaction would satisfy or fix a situation for a short period of time. However, there are long-term repercussions that happen that did not even show up in my brain or my consideration, just to react. More times than not, when we're reacting in a heightened anxiety state or excited state, we're fanning a flame or a fire that's occurring, and it's going to spread faster. I've learned quite a bit over, gosh, the last few years with working with clients, that when we can really take a moment and think forward, if this decision occurs, if I can keep my head, if I can keep my emotions in check, if I can look at a situation, learn from it, make a decision that's smart and well thought out, then I'm going to be able to move forward and move on, as opposed to staying in that emotional reactive state, which I don't know about you, but many times that just eats my lunch. And I've got to tell you, it's really easy to get caught up in the squirrel and off you go, right? So
Yeah, yeah. And for a long time, people have thought about resilience, right, as this an adaptation, right? So they thought about it as like, I am adapting after a stressful or adverse situation.
mhm.
Well, we now know that if you wait to adapt after a stressful situation in life, and you don't look at resiliency as a proactive tool from a psychological and a psychological perspective, then what happens is you start to look at where we break down in the mind, the body, the psyche, right? You know, spirituality becomes that thing that's on the chopping block as well. So, what you're helping people with is get ready, right?
Exactly. And resiliency doesn't look like something that has army fatigues on it and this massive 75-pound backpack on, and you've got these combat boots and you've got your helmet and you're tromping through life. That's not what resiliency looks like. And I think we get caught up in that it's got to be hard and it's got to be tough and it's got to be sharp and there's edges, but that's not true. Resiliency is in my opinion, and the most inspiring people I know seem to be calm, cool, and collected through challenging, stressful situations. And that's what I want people to walk away from, is how do we cultivate that to be able to navigate not only the rest of this year, but building a life from here forward and expanding and growing personally, professionally, in a more healthy, not only physical environment, but mental environment, emotional environment, and a spiritual environment. It's about growth.
I want to talk about this because part of this too is as we look at growth and we look at our lives, there is such enormous benefits right now to really understanding how to build resilience. And I will say positive emotions are a big part of it. You know, the scientific research, the literature, whatever you want to call it, people's real experiences, right? But we know as human beings that we have this ability, if we could learn it, to have positive emotions. Now, what does that mean? It doesn't mean we don't feel things, right, Sabrina? That's not what we're saying. We're not
We're
saying that.
exactly, and we're not saying that it has to be rainbows and pretty ponies and kitties and babies and all of that, but it is a realistic approach with the understanding and the feedback in your brain that, you know what, things are going to work out. They may not work out the way I thought that I needed it to work out or what we need, but it does work out. And if we allow ourselves that brain flexibility, that teachable spirit, if you will, and we remain calm, then it's like once we're navigating through the storm, if you will, we're coming out on the other side and there's comfort because we've already gotten through the pain. We've gotten through the suffering. So there's comfort on the other side of this type of growth. And we don't talk about that very much, not at all. When people talk about pain, they think about suffering, they think about debilitation, they think about limitations. But that struggle, and I've used this analogy before, the caterpillar in the cocoon. It's that struggle and that challenge to get out of that cocoon that creates the strength in the butterfly wings, that once it breaks free, it can fly. If it receives any sort of help in getting out of that cocoon, those wings have not developed fully. We've just disabled, if you will, that butterfly.
Yeah.
And there are many times, and I'm sure you've probably experienced this, is that when you've received help or someone has done something for you out of the goodness of their heart, and they've blessed you, right? They've overly blessed you. What has happened is there's that opportunity for growth and development that has been retarded, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, when you think about this from a real practical perspective in what we're experiencing right now, right? If we could just stay with this for a minute, because I love what you said, right? One is everybody that's listening, this is for you. Mm-hmm. This isn't just for a select few people. No. You know, these benefits that we're talking about today, these are real. These are outcomes, but you may not know how to do it. And that's why I think, Sabrina, you're helping people in the 20-minute health assessment discovery session, help people really zone in on where they may need the most help, right?
Exactly, because there's so much that's coming at you right now that it's overwhelming to understand what the first thing would be to work on.
Yeah.
Or put your energies.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that I learned is this is my first week back in our new offices. We got these offices and moved over here. And shortly after that, wow, it's like not all of us can come in. You know, even though we were classified as an essential organization, we still had to think about it. But here's what I love about spirit. God, spirit, what you believe in. See, we were going to stay in our old space, but that wouldn't have worked. And I thought about this. It would have been very comfortable to stay there, even though it would cost us a lot. But there was something about it that would have made us more vulnerable. And I didn't know what it was, like not enough room, not great internet. There were so many things. But what I didn't know is that turned into really taking action and this space showing up, which is 3 times the size, right? Mm-hmm. It's for us to grow into, to go from 2 producers to 3 producers to 4 producers to multiple workstations right here. And you know what turns out so great about it? It's big enough that we can have people come in and work and still be 6 feet or more apart.
Perfect.
And so this is, again, let's talk about this for a minute, because that scenario has to do with us as individuals. If we could look at possibilities. When we come back from break, I would love to talk to you about the skills that we need to cultivate, but the relationship between resilience and possibility thinking, resilience, and possibilities. Let's take a short break, everybody. Sabrina, what's the best way we can get people to find out about you and the fantastic work you're doing?
You can go to my website, sabrinaiswright.com, and you can go to Facebook, Sabrina A.Wright public figure page.
Yeah, and I want to say, are you feeling a little vulnerable right now? Would you like some help from us today to begin to cultivate skills? If you give us a call, we'd love to try to help you on air, or give Benny your question, or pop it into Facebook. But if you don't want to come on air and you still want help, we have now created a way through Sabrina Wright to set this up for you to speak with her personally. Free 20-minute. It's amazing. A free 20-minute session. Whoa, it's like amazing. Let's take a short break, Mr. Benny. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Oopsie, Benny. So sorry.
Oopsie what?
Oopsie. Benny and I have been together. So here's the deal. Given that I move forward next year, and I will plan to, and given that Benny continues to be Benny, this will be, oh my God, this will be our 17th year together, the longest relationship I've ever had in my life.
Wow, congratulations.
Wait. What about Linda, though? Isn't that longer?
No, you and Linda neck and neck.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay,
We're going to have to go to the tape on that one.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. Linda's got you up like a gazillion years.
Whoa. I wouldn't know to hear that.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right about that. But this particular relationship of mutual respect.
There we go.
And working together. It takes a lot to work together. It takes a lot to work with me. I have really high standards. They're not ridiculous because all of you, I want to honor all of you. And that is my life's purpose and mission. Now, when it comes to me, I don't even have my own website up yet. It's an abomination. But today we are talking about our listeners and honoring them. Because what happens if you have to admit, Sabrina, that you're vulnerable? What happens if you have to admit that you need help? What happens if you have to admit that you're not quite Humpty Dumpty? I don't know where the Humpty Dumpty analogy came from. I'm sorry.
Disneyland.
I don't know. I mean, I think it came up because somebody brought it up recently. And I said, I don't understand why they couldn't put them back together. So here I am, like, because I live in that world. I don't think, as human beings, I think we have been given within us the ability to overcome pretty much anything, but we need the skills. Can we take a moment before we talk about the skills that we can learn, that you teach people? How do people sign up for the 20-minute assessment and the CBD? Tell people how to do that. Because I know you and I are going to get rolling here and we're not going to stop.
So you can go to my website, sabrinaiswright.com. Under services, you're going to go to that page and there's going to be two options there that you will see for the 20-minute session, discovery session. Click on that, fill out your contact information, and you'll hear from me within 24 hours. And there's also on that same page the opportunity to order your CBD sample. And that's on the services page of my website, sabrinaiswright.com.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
I got to ask you about the discovery session because it really fits right into what we're going to talk about with skills. You know, I grew up in an environment where I didn't have any skills. And Benny, thank you for bringing up Linda. Thank you for that. Linda, of course, is our senior executive producer. There isn't much that doesn't go through Linda or Jessica. Both of them are amazing. Jessica started 9 years ago as an intern. We were operating out of about 150 square foot room in my home, in my basement apartment, right? To start TTR 10
Wow.
years ago.
Wow.
Right in there. And I talked to Jessica about this morning because I have a new producer, and I was trying to explain to him what it's like to work with me. But when I met Linda in 1972 and her family, I was beyond broken. I didn't even know what I didn't know about myself, but I was resilient. I had gotten through homelessness. I had gotten through being arrested for something I didn't do. I had gotten through being in the mailroom at Bell Labs without getting fired from the mailroom job. But I didn't understand what you're about to share. There are skills to learn in resilience. And I beg people listening, don't learn them the way I learned them. If it wasn't for Linda, her mother and father, and my stepmother, I would be dead today. So take us on the journey.
You know, Pat, Dr. Pat, it really is about the people that your support network, first and foremost. And these are people who understand you, who give you guidance, who you've led into your sphere of influence to really invest and feed you with love, care, comfort, understanding, and direction. And in that relationship, first and foremost, comes a matter of trust. Do you trust yourself? Do you trust what's gotten you as far as you've gone? And do you believe that the spirit that's within you is going to move you forward into bigger and better and more comfortable and wonderful ways? In that support network, those are beliefs that you have, that you grab onto, and you walk with those people through your life. And these people show up as teachers, parents, family, friends, coaches, work associates, and we all have them. Most importantly, I think, in this cultivation of skills is that we have to remain calm about things. We have to live consciously in the moment now instead of thinking out here or what's happened back there, and play the what if game, because then we're grasping at straws. It's when we become really quiet and centered and we check in with ourselves about who we are, why we're here, what our skill set is, what we bring to the table, what we know. That's when our confidence rises, right? When we take that personal inventory. And once, right? And once once you spend that time, and it's not like it's going to be an hour, it's going to be 2 days. It really is just a matter of remembering those simple things that bolsters you to be able to move forward. And in moving forward, as you've taken that inventory, check in with yourself physically. Our minds and our bodies are so intimately connected. They overlap, they intersect. If you're strengthening and healing your body, you're strengthening and healing your mind. You're strengthening and healing your spirit. Your self-care and what you do creates that clean feedback and that clean understanding of how to move forward. If you're in a place of discomfort or dis-ease, there's a tendency to get so distracted, so overwhelmed by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That a vicious cycle just occurs.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of what are the choices that you're making for how and when and what you eat, how and what we do to exercise or move our bodies, How do we prepare for rest and sleep? All of this has a significant impact and starts to support and produce resiliency in you as an individual.
I want to ask you about something just totally in line with what you just said. So I'm not going to digress at all because I can't believe how perfect this is. Jessica and I, we're looking at the future and where we're going. And we have a new producer. David's one of our new producers. And we've had, you know, both Olivia and Zach have been mentoring and stepping up and helping and training. And we're going to be doing the next level of mentorship, because you could mentor people and train people on the basics, right? But here's what you can't do. When somebody doesn't understand something, they need to talk to another person, right? So this was a hard lesson for me. This is why your 20-minute session that you're talking about is so important. And I want to encourage people to speak with you, because back in 1972, I didn't know what I didn't know. Mm-hmm. But Linda's mom knew. Mm-hmm. Linda's dad knew. And I was talking with Jessica and she reminded me of something today. And I said, you know, I want to make sure our team does their jobs well. And in order for that to happen, I have had to have people say to me, Mary Louise Smith, Ryan McGorry, Dan Vandermaas, people I've worked for, Charlie Brooks, they've had to say things to me to get me on track. Those are hard conversations. But I was willing. I wanted to do a good job. Mm-hmm. I had a bell-shaped head. And I said to Jessica this morning, because we're going to be moving David in with Jessica for this level of mentorship, so he could listen to what she says, how it's done, right? And I said, you know, you got a big benefit of being in that small space with me there. Betty, you're going to love this. And then I want you to pick up on this, Sabrina. Longer story than I wanted to tell. So here I'm thinking, she got all this from me. Jessica said very quickly, I don't know, like created a monster here. No, not really. Sorry, Jessica. She said to me, oh no, I didn't learn those things from you. She said, you taught me some of the things that are not technical, but from a technical perspective, there was nobody there to help me. I had to learn all by myself. And I thought about that. Why was that? Why did she have to learn that? Because we were in a growing mode and there was no margin for error. There was no margin for framing on a video not to be done right. There was no margin for audio not to work right. And she knew it. There's no margin now in the world we live in to not take care of ourselves. We don't have that margin. We don't have that, what do you call that? That backdrop. So now take it away. Tell us how you're going to be able to help people, because we don't have a margin. Suicide rates among the LGBT community are the highest they've ever been. How can we help people, Sabrina?
What the 20-minute session does is it gives you my full attention, and we're just going to talk about you. It's a safe place for you to ask questions, to share what's on your heart, to share thoughts. And there really is nothing that I have not heard, or there's nothing that I've not had an experience with a client. So it's a safe place to actually talk about you. And questions are the best way to really get to the root and to work to the foundation, if you will, of what's going on. And then we set a plan for foundation building, whether it's physically, whether it's mentally, whether it's looking at the components of your emotional life and how it's tied to your mental thoughts. What was it I was reading the other day? There are 1 in 4 people, 1 in 4 people who actually have mental health problems. And 1 in 10 people experience anxiety and depression. And that could be for a moment, it could be for a day, it could be for a period of time that's longer than you're used to. But that's because of the world that we live in. And we just don't have skills or resources to be able to navigate through them. And that's what the session's all about. It's to take a look at what you got going on, talk about what you want to do, what you're committed to taking action on, and setting a plan.
Oh, say that again. Say the word commitment. Say committed. Say that word.
Committed to the activity. Yeah. Committed to the movement. Because the thing is, if you're not committed to it, I could give you all kinds of encouragement. I could point you in this direction. I can give you tools and resources. But if you're not committed on your part and taking action, then you're not going to change the situation. You're not going to build skills. You're not going to improve or expand life.
Yeah. I'm so thrilled about what you're doing. I want to talk about the physical aspect of this because you do it all. People don't know about you as the healer. They don't know about your physical work. We don't talk about it that much, but you are that. Mm-hmm. You know, you are known in the world for that, the physical part as well. One of the things I learned about, and I have been an advocate, I will say this, I have been an advocate for CBD for health purposes for a decade or more. I was sick. I needed to get the pain taken care of, the neuropathy handled. And I learned about it before it was a thing. Mm-hmm. Now it's a thing, but people are confused. Let's talk about the CBD factor to help with not just the physicality or the physical part of this, but the balancing part. If you could spend a minute or so on that, if you don't mind, because aren't you also sharing that with people?
I am. Okay. And it really is a matter of calming all of the systems internally that are going on. If we're in a stressful situation, like currently, I'm not aware of what's going on up north where you are, Dr. Pat, but here in Southwest Washington, Eastern Washington, and Oregon, down into California, there are all these fires. Just the anxiety of the way that the sky has changed this week from one that's orange and smoky and you don't have the sunshine, to high winds and the way that it's spreading the fire and affecting families, our nervous system is on hyper alert. Hyper alert. So then the brain is trying to react. Again, we've already talked about resiliency is a matter of staying calm and about looking at the situation and making thoughtful choices. When our body systemically is running on overdrive, it's really difficult to maintain that calm, cool, collective exterior. So what the CBD does is it starts to interact with the central nervous system and it calms it. And it brings the activity level of your brain down. You're able to think clearer, have more succinct thoughts, make clearer decisions. When your body starts to relax in that particular way, you can rest. So you get better sleep, more restorative sleep, and you don't wake up with that fogginess that, oh, and I don't, all these over-the-counter sleep aids provide.
Right.
CBD now is really popular because it's fighting the opioid crisis that we have, that Western medicine has developed.
Yep.
It not only calms the system, but it nourishes and it feeds and supports the body. It helps with heart health and all the omegas that are in it. It helps with muscle recovery. So if you're out responding, or you're working overtime, or you're doing more things rigorously physically, it helps with that muscle recovery.
Yep.
It also helps to diminish inflammation, which happens in joints and in our cells, head to toe, top to bottom. So CBD does a number of things for the body overall. And when we start to get our bodies physically imbalanced into that state of homeostasis, whew, right? We can really take a look at life and make better choices and move forward.
I want to just bring this full circle. I know we've got a few minutes left. I get to the point right now where we are and what we're doing. I just want to speak to so many people, because if I, in some way, and I know you're like this too, if I could prevent folks from stepping in some of the giant potholes that I've stepped in, even if it's sharing my story, even if that helps, right? Then I think we are doing a great service. You know, Sabrina, you know what the top question I get asked when I'm interviewed by people? They don't talk to me about, oh, you own a network and this, you know. I did have one person say to me something like, did you know you're the only woman that owns a broadcast network? And I said, that can't be true. And then I blew it away. But I get asked the question, why, Pat, do you keep paying thousands and thousands of dollars for airtime? And my answer to people is, that's not even a question. This is my life's path. It's not about airtime. It's about our ability to help people. That's what you're doing. So I want to ask you this. What do we want to leave with people today? And let's not forget to give them your website or how to get a hold of you for the session and the CBD. But let's talk to what we want to leave folks with today, because I know you're a lot like me. You are on path and on purpose.
So the best way to get in contact with me is through my website. Sabrina is WRIGHT.com. Go on to the services page. You'll get a click down option of a couple of things. Go to the free 20-minute discovery session, fill out your contact information, and I'll get that straight away, and we'll be in contact with you within 24 hours. Also, on that page, you have the opportunity to get your free CBD sample, which I highly recommend. And if I can just take a little diversion here, I want to thank everybody that reached out after the last show that we had, Dr. Pat. I am so grateful for all of you who reached out to connect, and you did it by email. You also did it on the Facebook page. And I just want to thank you very much. I'm honored to be able to interact with you and to share with you some tools and resources and encourage you along the way of living a better life, actually living the good life, because you can. Back to what you want me to leave people with is that life is practice, okay? Practice your skills. Resilience doesn't involve a specific set of behaviors and actions, and it's not a map or a process where you do number one, you do this, number two, that leads to this. Resilience varies from one person to another. So focus on your strengths. Over time, they're going to override any weaknesses that you have. Choose to make the most of everything that comes your way. The brightest of futures will always be based upon a forgotten past. So remember that you can't move forward in life until you let go of your past, your failures, and your heartaches. And I'm here to walk with you through that. So reach out for your free discovery session on my website. Sabrina is WRIGHT.com. Under the services page. It's that easy.
I love it. Last question. I was typing a note to one of our Facebook watchers. Last question. Mm-hmm. Personal message, Sabrina. What do you want to leave us all with? And I cannot thank you enough for your commitment to helping people heal.
My personal message to you is that I want you to come to believe that caring for yourself isn't self-indulgent, that self-care is an act of survival, and resilience is a component of that. You're stronger than you know, and you're greater than you are today.
Wow. Thank you so much. Benny, thank you. Pushing all the right buttons. Zach, and I want to thank all of our listeners out there. You are the most amazing audience on the planet. You are resilient beyond what you even know. You've been through so much with us, and we're not done. We'll see you next time.